Hello students, now we are going to see about the noise pollution. So what is noise is exactly sound that is unwanted or disrupts one's quality of life is called as a noise. When there is a lot of noise in the environment, it is termed as noise pollution. Sound which becomes undesirable when it disturbs the normal activities such as working, sleeping and during the conversations. It is an undeterred environmental problem because of the fact that we can't see, smell or taste it. World Health Organization stated that noise must be recognized as a major threat to human well-being. What are the health effects? According to the US EPA, there are direct links between noise and health. Also, noise pollution adversely affects the lives of millions of people. Noise pollution can damage physiological and psychological health. High blood pressure, stress-related illness, sleep disruption, hearing loss, and productivity loss are the problems related to noise pollution. It can also cause memory loss, severe depression, and panic attacks. Now, what are the sources of noise pollution? Transportation systems are the main source of noise pollution in urban areas. The best example, while in our classroom, while teaching and learning process is going on, if any train passes through that platform, we will get lots of noise and we have to stop our conversation in the classroom. So this is how the transportation system basically affects the noise. Construction of buildings, highways and streets cause a lot of noise due to the usage of air compressors, bulldozers, loaders, dump trucks and pavement breakers. Industrial noise also adds to the already unfavorable state of noise pollution. Loudspeakers, plumbing work, boilers, generators, air conditioners, fans and vacuum cleaners add to the existing noise pollution. Now, what are the solutions for this noise pollution? Planting bushes and trees in and around sound generating sources is an effective solution for noise pollution. So basically this tree cover act as a cushion to absorb the noise. Regular servicing and tuning of automobiles can effectively reduce the noise pollution. Buildings can be designed with suitable noise absorbing material for the walls, windows and ceilings. Workers should be provided with equipment such as earplugs and earmuffs for hearing protection. So generally these workers or the employees who are working in any industry where the lots of noise is present, so under the occupational health and safety department, they should take care of this noise pollution which is created in any processing unit. And if the noise level is more than permissible level of noise, then this OHS department is responsible to provide such equipments to the employees. Now, solutions for noise pollution we will continue. Similar to automobiles, lubrication of the machinery and servicing should be done to minimize noise generation. Soundproof doors and windows can be installed to block unwanted noise from the outside. Regulations should be imposed to restrict the usage of plain loudspeakers in crowded areas and public places. Factories and industries should be located far from the residential areas. Community development or urban management should be done with long-term planning along with an aim to reduce noise pollution. Social awareness programs should be taken up to educate the public about the causes and effects of noise pollution. Now the next topic is thermal pollution. So what is thermal pollution is basically it is nothing but the natural waters will get heated due to the natural causes or due to the human activities. Okay, that is called as a thermal pollution. Increase in the normal temperatures of natural waters caused by intervention of human activities. Major causes are nuclear power plants, then hydroelectrical power plants, coal-fired power plants, industrial waste which we are dumping into the open oceans, then deforestation, soil erosion, and burning of fossil fuels. These are the major causes of thermal pollution, which increases the temperature of natural water bodies. Now, how these nuclear power plants, coal-fired power plants are increasing the temperature of natural waters. Nuclear power plants use water as a cooling agent. After the water is used, it is put back into a water supply at 9 to 20 degrees centigrade warmer. Hydroelectric power plants generate less heat compared to the nuclear power plants. Now, due to increasing this normal temperature or deviation from this normal temperature of water, natural water body, it will get changed due to any reason. If it will get increased, then what will happen? So basically whatever the flora and fauna is present under the water, marine ecosystem or any freshwater ecosystem will totally get disturbed due to the increase in this water temperature. Coal-fired power plants, coal used as fuel, condenser coils cooled with water from nearby lake or river. Heated effluents decrease DO of water, that is dissolved oxygen of water, damages marine organisms. Next is industrial waste. Discharge water from steam electric power industry using turbo generators. Temperature of receiving water increases by 6 to 9 degrees centigrade. Deforestation is also responsible. How this deforestation is also responsible? The decrease in vegetation definitely increases the amount of whatever the light is coming from the sun. It directly hits your water, and so the temperature of the water will get increased. So this is how this deforestation is also responsible for the increase in temperature of natural water. Then this deforestation also increases your soil erosion. Now erosion makes the water muddy, which increases the light absorption capacity. Erosion makes the water muddy, and definitely why this light will get more absorbed, because whatever the particles of the soil will get mixed through that water molecules plus these solid particles will absorb more and more sunlight from the environment, and the temperature of that particular water body definitely it will get increased. Now what are the effects of increased water temperature? Thermal shock. Aquatic life adapted to certain water temperature can go into shock when the temperature is changed even 1 or 2 degrees, and we have seen that one particular type of water which is discharged from any industry, it is having or it is changing the temperature of natural water near about 6 degree to 20 degree. Oxygen dissolved in water decreases, so if the dissolved oxygen concentration will get decreases, definitely whatever the aquatic animals are present, they will not get sufficient amount of oxygen. Increases the rate of photosynthesis, which increases the amount of plant growth. Increases the metabolic rate of fish, which increases their need for oxygen. Control measures. Cooling towers. So we have to install the cooling towers before discharging such a hot water into any natural water body. A tower like device in which atmospheric or air circulates and cools warm water, generally by direct contact, that is evaporation. Cooling ponds. The pond receives thermal energy in the water from the plant's condensers, and the energy is dissipated mainly through evaporation. Once the water has cooled in the pond, it is reused by the plant. New water is added to the system to replace the water loss through the evaporation. Spray ponds, an arrangement for cooling large quantities of water in open reservoirs or ponds. Nozzle spray a portion of the water into the air for the evaporative cooling effects. Artificial lakes as a reservoirs. Cogeneration, a process where waste heat is recycled for domestic and or industrial heating purposes. Spray ponds, an arrangement for cooling large quantities of water in open reservoirs or ponds. Nozzle spray are generally used for this process. Now the solid waste management. Waste, also known as rubbish, trash, refuse, garbage, junk, litter and ought, is unwanted or a useless material which is called as a waste. In biology, waste is any of the many unwanted substances or toxins that are expelled from living organisms, metabolic waste such as urea and sweat. Now, solid waste management. It is the basic process of collection of the waste, then how you are going to treat that waste and where you are going to dispose that waste. So these all three collective processes are called as solid waste management. So we'll see the collecting, treating and disposing of solid material that is discarded because it has served its purpose or is no longer useful. Improper disposal of municipal solid waste can create unsanitary conditions, and these conditions in turn can lead to pollution of the environment and to outbreaks of vector-borne diseases, that is diseases spread by rodents and insects. Now, basic classification of waste. So this classification is based on the properties of the wastewater. One is biodegradable and the another one is non-biodegradable. Classification of waste according to their effects on human health and the environment. Hazardous waste, substances unsafe to use commercially, industrially, agriculturally or economically and have any of the following properties: that ignitability, corrosivity, means it will get high, it is highly flammable, we can say, so it is called as ignitability. Then the corrosivity, it will be act as a corrosive. Then reactivity, it will get highly or it will be highly reactive with any other substance. And the toxicity, it is totally dependent on the toxicity of that particular hazardous waste. Then non-hazardous, substances safe to use commercially, industrially, agriculturally or economically and do not have any of those properties mentioned above. These substances usually create disposal problems. Now classification which is based on their origin. So MPCB or CPCB basically working on the classification according to their origin. So municipal solid, again this solid waste is defined or classified in municipal solid waste, biomedical waste and industrial waste. Solid waste that include household garbage, rubbish, construction and demolition debris, sanitation residues, packaging materials, trade refuges, etc. are managed by any municipality. So the municipal solid waste is nothing but the garbage, household garbage, construction material, etc. etc. Then the biomedical waste, solid or liquid waste including containers, intermediate or end products generated during diagnosis, treatment and research activities of medical sciences. Industrial waste, liquid and solid waste that are generated by manufacturing and processing units of various industries like chemical, petroleum, coal, metal gas, sanitary and paper, etc. etc. So this is how the MPCB or CPCB has classified the different type of waste. Next type is nothing but agricultural waste generated from farming activities. These substances are mostly biodegradable and they are called as an agricultural waste. Now for disposal of this agricultural waste or the agricultural waste water, both the systems has been developed. So there are a separate disposal system for such a type of waste. Fishery waste generated due to fishery activities. These are extensively found in coastal and estuarine areas. Then radioactive waste containing radioactive materials. Usually these are byproducts of nuclear processes. Sometimes industries that are not directly involved in nuclear activities may also produce some radioactive waste. Example, radioisotopes and chemical sludge. E-waste. Now electronic waste is nowadays a biggest problem. how to dispose this e-waste. Basically, this e-waste is recycled by so many companies. Electronic waste generated from any modern establishments, they may be described as discarded electrical or electronic devices. Some electronic scrap components such as CRTs may contain contaminants such as PB, CD, BE or brominated flame retardants. Now, effects of this poor solid waste management due to improper waste disposal systems, particularly by municipal waste management teams, waste heaps up and become a problem. People clean their homes and places of work and litter their surroundings, which affects the environment and the community. This type of dumping of waste materials forces biodegradable materials to rot and decompose under improper, unhygienic, and uncontrolled conditions. After a few days of decomposition, a foul smell is produced and it becomes a breeding ground for different types of diseases, causing insects as well as infectious organisms. On top of that, it also spoils the aesthetic value of that particular area. Solid waste from industries are a source of toxic materials, hazardous waste and chemicals. When released to the environment, the solid waste can cause biological and physiochemical problems to the environment and may affect or alter the productivity of the soils in that particular area. Toxic materials and chemicals may seep into the soil and pollute the groundwater. If we directly dump any type of solid waste into the toxic materials and chemicals may seep into the soil and pollute the groundwater. During the process of collecting solid waste, the hazardous waste usually mix with ordinary garbage and other flammable wastes, making the disposal process even harder and risky. When hazardous waste like pesticides, batteries containing lead, mercury or zinc, cleaning solvents, radioactive materials, e-waste and plastics are mixed up with paper and other scraps are burned, they produce dioxins and gases. These toxic gases have a potential of causing various diseases including cancer. Now, when this solid waste generally collected from your city area or municipal area, now if we go to the basic processes of solid waste management, you have to segregate the waste. Segregation of waste is the basic and very first step of the solid waste management system. So for this process, you have to segregate biodegradable, non-degradable waste accordingly. Then you have to separate out the e-waste, then the plastic, whatever the wrappers are coming at our home in various forms like milk packets, oil packets, or the biscuit wrappers are coming, that we have to segregate at the source only. So due to this segregation, the people who are collecting this waste for the solid waste management, it will be more easier for them. Now according to the type of waste, it will get disposed. Now after the segregation, collection will come into the picture. Now each and every ward will be provided with your particular garbage chutes. Then this garbage will collected by different types of trucks. Then this will transported to the particular local station where this all the solid waste from all the wards is coming. Then at this point again this waste is segregated. Again the waste which is biodegradable will process for the composting, or it will go towards the organic waste converter. Then it will get converted into the compost, and this compost is available to sell. We can get it from there and we can provide this compost for the gardening purpose. Now rest of the waste which is recyclable is they are sending to it to the recyclable unit. There plastic or it may be your electronic waste, it will get recycled. Okay, So this is how this solid waste management is working. Now rest of the waste is going for the landfilling side. Now what is the landfilling? It is nothing but the scientific dumping of solid waste. Okay, now under this you have to you have to locate area where generally it should be away from the city area, and then you have to fill up that whole area first of all with a geo sheet. Okay, now it's a type of sheet which will used to or which is used to prohibit the whatever the liquid material after the decomposition of solid waste is going to be percolated through the soil. So it inhibits that percolation of that particular liquid. Now after dumping this waste into the landfilling site, you have to collect the different gases. Basically the CH4, that is your methane gas, will get released from into the atmosphere through this landfilling site. You have to provide the collection facility for these gases, because due to such a gases, if these gases are getting dumped or getting burdened under such a landfilling site, most of the time you will observe the frequent fires into these areas. Secondly, the water which is percolated through the subsequent layers of this landfilling site, again there that is the major problem, because this is the water which is coming from the incomplete combustion or the degradation of your solid waste, and that is called as a leachate. So for this leachate, again you have to provide the collection facility, and you have to treat this leachate into your solid sewage treatment plant, and then you can dispose that leachate into the environment. So these are the two major problems which we have to take care under this toxic material and chemicals. Now the control measures. Solid waste control measures. Recycling is the first step. Then source reduction. At the source only you can reduce the use of the things. Then green designing, reuse and sanitary landfilling. Solid waste control measure, again proper disposal and the incineration of that particular type of waste. Then hazardous waste. Modern society produces large quantities of hazardous waste generated by chemical manufacturing companies. Now there are so many industries which are generating this hazardous waste, and that hazardous waste basically so many MIDCs are sending to the incineration, where this hazardous waste is directly get burned. And there are, after burning of such a hazardous waste, there are two main issues. One is the water. That water, again you have to cool it, because it is having a very high temperature. This is the byproduct of that hazardous waste, and you have to again cool that water and dispose into the natural river body. That is the first problem. And the second is the air emissions. Air emissions norms should be there. So whatever the burning, after the burning of this hazardous waste, whatever the emissions are going to be emitted into the atmosphere, you have to set some air control pollution equipments into those chimneys where this hazardous waste is going to be treated. Okay, so this is all about your solid waste management. Thank you.